is riffing.
My tummy hurts. Pretty good, right now. Good evening, guys. It is Nick with Off the Chart Trading. Hope you guys are having a good Thursday night. Today is the 30th, the last Thursday of the year. Crazy. Tomorrow being the last day of the year. So let's just jump right into it. Actually, funny enough, right before I hit record, noticed a little bit of selling. ES just dropped. It was almost like 10 points, pretty quick. So we'll see how it opens tomorrow. Probably come down to the 8 or something. I don't think we'll see anything too crazy before the end of the year. Funny enough, we did end up getting ridiculously close to 4,800, 47.99, 75. Doesn't get much closer than that. So it seems to be a little bit of resistance. We'll probably end up shooting through it beginning of next week or the week after. But we'll just have to see how tomorrow is, last day of the year. So could be some chop, could be some buying, could be, maybe some more tax loss. Although a lot of tax loss, we ended up doing a webinar last night, mainly just all of us coming together and coming up with some names. Some people did scans and, shared different, tickers that, a good mix of high short interest that are down 50, 60, 70% year to date, and trying to find, the best names that are, fairly priced and going that route. And we came up with some good ones. Funny enough, I was not expecting them to take off today. So I kind of had to jump the gun. We'll see, obviously, if tomorrow everything's down, then it would have made more sense to wait. But as per usual, it's all hindsight. But all the trades ended up working out really well out of the gate. We ended up seeing a little bit of weakness into the close. So some of them ended up coming back a little bit. I wasn't planning on it, but I'll go over some of them tonight. I did not get into Beyond, I don't think. Did I take a trade in Beyond? No, I was going to wait till tomorrow to see if it was going to potentially come back down, because it was up $4 today. A lot of the names, like Baba was another one I wanted to take a look at. Come on now. Just one, almost $11 on the day. That's crazy. And then I think, went out basically right near the highs. I was expecting this candle over here. So it kind of sucks, because I assumed, and that's normally how tax loss goes, is when you see stocks that have done this for a majority of the year, it gets worse the last week of the year, mainly because of tax loss. People just offsetting some lose a lot, losses with some gains. And I was assuming we were going to see 108 again, maybe even 105, and if it got real ugly, get down to maybe about $100, and that would have been perfect, because I would have loved to grab 100 calls or the 110s, 115s going out to February out here, and just seeing if we ended up seeing some type of pop. So good amount of volume today, nice move. So I'll keep an eye on it. Maybe it's a good thing if the market is down a little tomorrow. Maybe hop into some Ali Baby inside joke. Those that know. What was one of the ones I actually did get into? Corsair I did decide to grab. Has that nice daily squeeze. It was pretty close to its 52-week lows about 2 weeks ago. Grabbed some today. Came back a little bit, but going out till February. It does have earnings before those would expire. So the main trick, if you want to call it that, for these types of trades is you typically want to just sell the first or second week of January, because that's when new money comes in, and stocks that have been beat down and overlooked, maybe they don't like it at 51, but they might like it at $20. So some of these names, magically you might see certain people on CNBC, oh yes, we think this is perfect value now, we're going to go long Corsair and Ali Baby, and some of these other ones that we didn't like all year as we shorted them, but we love them now because it's the beginning of the year and they're even cheaper. So with that nice daily squeeze setting up, we'll see if Corsair can follow through into next week or the following week. I went out to February. You could have done January, but just to give me time, just in case it's not what I was expecting, maybe hold through earnings if need be. But when I frame a trade, I try to stay within that frame and not try to leave that. Happened to me today, actually. I ended up initially taking a trade in Tesla. We can take a look at that, even though it's not really a tax loss one, but since my mind's going there. Yesterday, everything was looking pretty good the day before. We did have a little run up into the close yesterday, and I was up a decent amount. I think I was up like 15-20% on the calls right out of the gate. Saw a little weakness, but then I looked at the 30-minute, and funny enough, I'm looking at the corner of my eye on one of my other screens, and it's still in that 30-minute, hasn't fired. And same thing with the hourly chart. So the setup looked good for continuation into today. And then, as per usual with my luck, they got that. I think it was Citi that reiterated their sale. I think they increased the price target from like, it's so stupid when they do this, like 230 to like 245. So it's $1,000 stock, and they're increasing their price target by $15. But they reiterate the sell. So the stock got hit. It was down like $10 when I woke up around, I think, 6:30, 7 o'clock. And then they did a massive recall, and that dropped the stock like $20. So there was a little bit of a bounce out of the gate, because it's Tesla. Tesla's going to do what Tesla does. So I didn't sell right out of the gate, thinking that we could end up maybe rebounding a decent amount and selling to some strength. But by the time I walked back into my office, turned on my computers, pulled out my phone, it dropped back down to like 1060, and I'm like, I'm just going to cut it. So I took I think like a 60-70% loss on that. Funny enough, it did end up coming back, and if I held, once again, the beauty of hindsight, I could have got out for pretty close to break even, because it did go up to, I think, like 1095 or something. I had the 1100 strike, but reason I said that is if I stuck to the original trade idea, which was get out by the end of the day, I would have just taken the $500 hit versus like a $2,500 hit. But it's always hindsight. And typically, with my luck, if I did sell at the end of yesterday, it would have got a massive upgrade, or they would have released a new product, or something would have happened. The stock would be up $50 pre-market. That's generally how that seems to go, and I'm sure most people feel that they can relate to that. Anyway, back to some of the tax loss ones. What else did I get into? Oh, Lemonade. Nice daily squeeze as well. 52-week lows literally yesterday. I was assuming that they would continue today, so this kind of caught me off guard. I mean, it was up $3, but at one point I think it was up like $5. I mean, it got as high as like almost $45. So yeah, it was up almost $5 on the day. I got calls pretty early in the morning. I think not right out of the gate, but around 10. And like I said, it caught me off guard. I assumed the selling pressure would stay. So I don't know if that's shorts covering or what today was, but small caps, which is 95% of my portfolio, actually did fairly well. Even with the selling we saw until the close, my account was able to hold up fairly well, which as of lately, anybody who's in growth stocks and small caps and stuff knows that it hasn't been too easy as of late. But Lemonade's one of them that I grabbed. Let me think. What else did I get? Oh, T-Doc. T-Doc was moving. I mean, it's finished up $4, but it was up, I think, a good amount more than that. Yeah, I got it to like 96 and change, so almost $2 higher than where it ended. But same setup in a lot of these. Nice squeezes setting up, and you're not looking for anything crazy. You're just looking for kind of like today's action on the first, or I guess technically, excuse me, I guess it would be the third. I believe that's what Monday is, right? Yeah. But anyway, so looking for that initial pop. So some of them kind of had it today. So hopefully there's more follow through next week. What else did we get into today? Trying to think. I'm just like doing. I guess I could check my phone right here. But I want to say, what else did I get? It was Lemonade. Oh, DraftKings. DraftKings was pretty solid as well. Pulled back a little bit after hours too. I'm noticing it too. It came back. I figured this was another one for tax loss. Once again, people might like the stock, but they don't like it at 75. It's been beat down, and then magically, new year, lower price. That's when they come out and give it buy ratings and start covering it and whatnot. But decent move. Figured this would be another one that we would see maybe $25 or something, or maybe a little lower. And once again, buy calls sometime tomorrow afternoon in it, riding it into the following week. This strategy seems to work the vast majority of the time. Like I said, it's kind of a head scratcher for me that they were up today as much as they were. But like I said, I didn't want to, even though the idea is to follow it into next week, I didn't want to miss the boat, even if tomorrow, instead of it being up $2 today, it's back down to being down to $25 or whatever. But I don't think that one day will make a huge difference if we do end up seeing a move to $30 or $35 over the next couple days, couple weeks. So once again, February calls in that one. I'm trying to think what else. There was probably like one more that I'm not thinking of. Let me check my phone real quick. What else was it? It's bothering me now. What else did I get into? I talked about that one. Peloton, that was it. That's actually one of the main ones I wanted to grab. Another one that kind of surprised me today. Same kind of thing. Not as clean setup, but it's still a squeeze. I guess you could say technically fired short, but low compression one's still there. Yesterday, 52-week lows, and decent move today. Nothing too crazy, but I'd like it to kind of be neutral tomorrow and then have that nice pop at the beginning of next week. And I talked about this in the room, and I don't know if I talked about it in previous videos, but I mean, you're literally back to prices it was at the end of 2019. So I would think within all of this move, I'm one of them, have been, I got a Peloton recently. I got it for Black Friday or whatever it was. So, I guarantee there's a lot more members paying that $40 a month and buying the bikes and all the other little stuff they do. I'm just saying Peloton's probably in a better place today than they were, at this time at the end of 2019 when the stock was exactly the same price. Yeah, did it deserve to be $171 stock? No. Peloton was good to us the end of last year. I shouldn't say the end of last year, almost all of last year. I think I took like 30 trades in Peloton and 28 of them I think were profitable. So it was probably one of my most consistent winners every time it had that little pop during the day, mainly once again the whole stay-at-home plays. But anyway, I think that's it. If not, obviously, if you remember, you already know exactly what we're in on Slack. So, but anyway, just figured I'd show some of you guys that maybe not be members or even know who we are, what we do. Just give you some ideas for potentially tomorrow. Some of those might be good ones to get into some calls or shares or however you want to play it. And, look to see how it goes into next week. Once again, just my own, what I'm doing. Hashtag, what is it? Not financial advice. That's pretty much it for that I wanted to cover. I guess we could look at the NQ real quick. That daily squeeze did fire. Low compression was still there. Like I said, getting hit a little after hours here. We'll see. Probably just rest around the 8, and then we'll see how it goes into next year. I'm sure the Dow's actually been really strong lately, but pretty similar chart. Coming down a little bit, down 130 points right now. I'm kind of wanting to put a short in on the ES and wake up and just see. I don't want to be caught off guard, but we'll see how. Once I finish this video, I'll look at it and see if I end up putting on a short overnight. I probably won't because it's the last day of the year, but just judging by this price action after hours makes me think that it might continue a little lower. Russell, even though they're all red today, I think this one was actually up the most. Has a nice daily squeeze setting up. Like I said, I'm big in a lot of the stuff I'm in might not necessarily be in the Russell, but they are smaller caps. So when the Russell goes up, typically my stuff goes up too. This weekly squeeze is still not fired, which is crazy. But this daily one, setting up nicely, doesn't mean it's going to fire long, but if we get that squeeze firing long, who's to say we don't come back up and potentially test all-time highs again. We're really not that far away. Anyway, that's basically the indexes. Let us take a look at the internals for today. This is what I was talking about. Obviously, you can kind of just see that we had that weakness. I know Brett caught some puts into the close. I think he did the SPY, but you can just see. And like I said, that's why I love my color-coded candles. Is it's just, you kind of see red over the last couple hours, last 5-6 hours. So we'll see how that goes. The VIX picked up at the end of the day. Cumulative tick came back down. Got a lot more volatile towards the close. You can kind of see that range in the ticks. Distribution, definitely more bullish than bearish for most of the day. But one thing I did mention in the room that I thought was interesting is even though they did go red on the day, the advanced declines, specifically in the S&P, were pretty lackluster versus what we were seeing for the most part. Trend at 9.6, nothing too crazy there. Put call pretty neutral. Dollar had that massive move, been consolidating, so nice to see. Hopefully it does come back down a bit. Gold doing what it does, absolutely nothing, and just hugs and stays around 1800. Bonds catching a little bit at the end, so was the yen. Bitcoin had a nice move and then kind of following the rest of the broader markets and coming back down a bit. What was I going to say? That's pretty much it. Like I said, I'm not trying to do anything crazy. I'm not trying to, it's literally tomorrow's the last day of the year. So it's kind of like that's all she wrote for this year, for 2021. So I'm not trying to do anything too crazy. Those tax loss trades going into next year will be the main thing that I focus on, at least for the first couple weeks. See how that goes. We can take a look. I just opened it up to show the profile, and then I'll end it on there. Oh, this actually might be my shortest video. Wow, only 15 minutes. That's crazy. We'll see though. I'm sure I can talk a lot more. So if you guys watched the video on Tuesday, talked about, balance. I was looking for yesterday to potentially, if there was going to be, a move higher, potentially we might see another day of balance or potentially go higher. Not really lower, but obviously it was a day of balance. Today was the day I figured if there was going to be a last hurrah, it probably would be today. Funny enough, and I showed that on the ES. 47.99, 75. Like, really? We couldn't get one more tick just to hit 4,800? It's funny how that is. Structurally speaking, it was good. We did see that liquidation break and spike into the close. So that's something to be aware of into tomorrow. And then obviously, since I'm doing this video a little later than usual, about 8 o'clock, we do have the overnight inventory and we can kind of see how that's building out. So one thing that I wanted to take a look at was this level, and I mentioned it, round down a little bit. We'll just say 47.70. We came within like a tick or so on 12.28. We came down to the T on 12.29. So I was looking for potentially this to hold. And granted, we closed above it, and we did breach it by a couple points. I would still consider that valid. I'm not a super technical trader. It's not it hit, I'm done type thing. That's close enough. And when you look at this entire range, and you break something for a couple minutes and it goes back up, it's still valid. What I look for though when it comes at it is follow through. We built out here for the last probably 2-3 hours, and then we just got that breakdown lower. So that's what you don't necessarily want to see. If we start going into these single prints over here and start coming back down, leaving volume area from 1227, which is kind of what got us all the way up here. It's not looking good, as of right now. And I mean that potentially for tomorrow, but with tomorrow being literally the last day of the year and it's on a Friday, it could get volatile. You might see some, more selling just for tax loss or people rebalancing to go long. So tomorrow's kind of a coin toss either way. But as far as, just whether regular price action, reading a chart, profile, this was pretty solid. VPOC. This was a balanced day, just higher. You can see time, volume, 30% of all volume up here. This is almost a perfectly balanced day higher. It's kind of a copy and paste, just once again, price exploring a little higher. And then we built out, value was here. And then obviously we had that spike down the last 30 minutes. And here we are overnight building out lower. So we'll just have to see. I'm not too worried about it, to be honest. If this was a couple months ago, I'd probably say, this could be the start of something pulling back maybe to 1227's lows, something along those lines. But because it's literally the last day of the year, I'm not going to try to read too much into it. Like I said, I'm going to keep my setup going, and if I do see a short potential, maybe I'll take it. But like I said, if it was any other time of the year, I'd probably be like, yeah, let me just put on an ES short and forget about it overnight. But because of how these indexes have looked over the last couple hours, but because it's the last day, I don't think I'm going to try to do anything too cute. But anyway, yeah, it's kind of, like I said, just a recap for today, mainly going into tax loss ideas. We went over some of the internals, kind of how the day played out. Like I said, not a bearish day by any means. Pretty solid, just with some weakness into the close. I like the profile because it kind of shows, where do we spend most of the time? Because if you look at a daily chart, it might look horrible, but when you look at the profile, you can see that there's a lot of time, a lot of volume, all the things that, the average, candlestick chart won't show you, or bar chart will show you that, we spent a lot of time and volume up here, and price was technically accepted higher. That spike, like I said, and then follow through lower. We'll just have to see how it plays out to tomorrow, and then go from there. But I think it's kind of on your marks, get set, go into the beginning of next year, which is historically bullish. Typically the first week of January, first couple weeks of January. So anyway, that's pretty much all I got on that. I will see you guys next year. Take care.